Because you're a female, have some money. Because you followed me back.
I'm gonna try to say this as delicately as I possibly can, but money is quite literally the only thing a lot of cishet men bring to the table.
Are you sure about that?
No, because really think about it. Most of you guys can't stay faithful. Most of you don't possess emotional intelligence, so women are left doing the emotional labor in the relationship. Most of y'all don't carry your weight when it comes to the housework or the children. And most of you guys can't satisfy women sexually. Which means the bulk of your value stems from how much money you make. On top of that, a lot of cishet men don't even like women, so why are we acting like this isn't a two-way street? The same way women will enter relationships with men solely for money is the same way in which men enter relationships with women for consistent sex. Women don't seek out men with money because we're just manipulative users by nature. It's because we see through men, and we know that if we attach ourselves to someone who barely sees us as a person, we may as well be getting something out of it.
Guys, I've said it before and I will say it again. A lot of these TikToks, while they do induce some brain damage, they are actually useful because they show men what a lot of these modern women really think. Okay, if you want to go out here and you want to use men for their money, you want to treat them as though they're only wallets, and then you turn around and you're surprised when you can't secure a relationship or no men want to marry you, you are the only person that you can blame for it. Now, guys, on today's episode, we are going to be breaking down this woman's TikToks, and guys, I don't know what it has been, but in recent days, for some reason, you know, the swamp of TikTok has been getting worse and worse. Guys, when I say that the videos we're going to be covering today are absolutely ridiculous, I really do mean it. But gentlemen, before we jump into this woman's TikToks and address her points, as always, guys, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals, okay? Just in case our overlord Susan decides to obliterate us. If you're interested in supporting the channel, that also is a fantastic way to do it. But of course, it is totally free to go and join, guys. We are posting archived content over there slowly. There's another video that'll be up over there in a few hours because, guys, we never really know these days with YouTube. But gentlemen, as we crack in, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments and you know, brace yourselves, I guess.
So I can already see the hate comments coming from a mile away, but I have been itching to say this for a while. The reason men statistically cheat more than women do in relationships has nothing to do with biology and everything to do with conditioning.
I love this stuff, guys, when girls will say a point, okay, and then they'll go, you know, the reason why these things are the way they are is because of societal conditioning. We have been conditioned by society. And while I do agree that society conditions people, guys, let me just say something. Most men don't even have the ability to cheat on women. Most men are average to most women. They are invisible to most women. So this idea that men cheat more than women, you know, maybe the top percentage of men do, you could make that argument, but men as a whole, certainly not. Certainly not. And this is the fallacy that a lot of these modern women have, guys, when they are talking about men, when they are making points about men, they're not really talking about men. They're only talking about their skewed little perspective of them dating dudes who are not interested in committing to them. And again, guys, this is completely obvious from anyone with two brain cells to rub together. When you are dating a guy, it's not exactly rocket science to tell which ones are going to cheat on you. Now, are there going to be guys who will lie and do all this? Of course there is, okay? But let's not pretend as though these dudes who are out here and players, it's really not hard to determine which guys are not interested in committing to you. Let's continue.
And I know for some of you, everything I just said went in one ear and out the other, and all you heard me say was women don't cheat, but we're not doing that today.
Unfortunately, I did hear what you said, right? Like, we know, we both, guys, here's the thing. Both genders cheat. Okay, this woman is trying to put forward the idea that men cheat more often. Now, you can make the argument that maybe men at the top cheat more than the average woman, but guys, consider this for a moment. Most men, dating for most men is a nightmarish experience. to the point where a lot of men are saying, you know what, I'm not interested in it anymore. You know, I'm going to stack my money, I'm going to go to the gym, and if I come across a girl who likes me, well, sucks for her because I'm not marrying her. I'm not committing to her. Right? And a lot of these guys, you know, it's not exactly rocket science to figure out that men aren't going to commit to you. And when girls complain about the lack of commitment or the cheating, it's like, how about you use your brain cells and you know, determine who is good to have in your life? A lot of these girls, they will put up with absolutely terrible behavior from dudes who will cheat on them and treat them like crap. But the thing is, guys, they keep going back to those men. And that is why I have no sympathy for them. Let's continue.
So because women are taught from a very young and impressionable age that our value stems from our connection to a man, as well as our ability to give that man children, we're less likely to do something intentionally to sabotage the relationship.
First of all, that part right at the end is absolute bullcrap. Any dude who's out here dating knows that a girl will test you. I don't care if she's been... Guys, I do not care. Here's the thing, okay? You guys let me know if I'm lying in the comments. If you are in a relationship with a girl and things have been going smoothly for too long, that girl will bring drama into the relationship, right? Like, any of you guys who have dated seriously ever before in your life, you'll know exactly what I'm saying here is true. A lot of these girls, they will say that they want stability, they want a guy who's consistent, a guy who will fulfill their emotional needs, but men who do that are boring. Men who do that are not interesting. These are the types of men who go out here and they get into a 10-year, 5-year marriage that end up with the girl cheating on him. Why? Because he listened to exactly what it is that she wanted. It really is that simple, guys. Like, I don't care. I sincerely do not care how many times girls will say, I just want a guy who's consistent. Really? Show me your dating history and then we'll have that discussion again. But I'm going to play that last point back just to cover because there's something else I missed.
Our value stems from our connection to a man, as well as our ability to give that man children. We're less likely to do something intentionally to sabotage the relationship.
And let's play the, let's look at it from the other direction. You think that men are not conditioned, probably significantly more so than women, to actually go out and treat them well, right? Dudes are literally, this, if you want to talk quote unquote conditioning, this conditioning is significantly worse in men, because what are men taught, guys? Men are taught when you grow up, you go to school, you get a good job, you work really hard, you provide for your family and your kids, you provide for your wife, and you get that nice picket fence. And if a girl, if you're interested in a girl, it is on you to prove how much you care. Show her how much you care, guys. I brought up this example before, but we see all the times in the movies, like, the man's got to do everything to show the girl that he's interested and he cares about her and to prove his worth, right? We see those romantic movies, quote unquote romantic movies back in the day, right? Where the dude's like on the street playing guitar, throwing rocks up at the window, trying to get her attention, doing all these things to impress her. That's what men are taught. Men are taught to go out here and work their entire lives for you. I don't think it's a close comparison at all. Let's move on.
However, men are not taught to value relationships with women as much as women are taught to value relationships with men.
Anybody who has any sense knows that that's not true. Like really, like, especially nowadays, especially in 2022, guys, where it's like, guys, like, women growing up nowadays are taught, like, if a man's not doing this for you, if a man's not doing that for you, then kick him to the curb, right? Like, we all know this is true. Are we still going to pretend as though womanism doesn't exist and isn't completely endemic in our schooling system, for example? Right? You guys go to university, right? I would encourage you guys to go to a university classroom and just take a listen to what they say in any what word am I looking for here? Any of the social sciences, that's it, okay? The classrooms that are predominantly women, so I'm talking about those excluding engineering, mathematics, because girls don't tend to like those classes very much. Go to any classroom that's full of women and you'll typically come across a languages or a social sciences class, and listen to what those classes teach women, guys. And if you think then those classrooms are not indoctrinating women to devalue men, for example, or the quote unquote patriarchy, which of course all men are apparently a part of, guys. You know, we're just oppressive like that. You are out of your damn mind. You want to talk about societal conditioning? This woman has it so damn backwards, it isn't even funny.
They're taught to focus on themselves as well as their dreams and aspirations.
Not true. Men are actually taught that if you focus on these things, you're part of the patriarchy, you're part of the problem. You want to create a product or a service, guys, you are an evil capitalist white man, is the narrative that you will be told, right? Like that's literally the, you know, you're like, that if you're a black dude, right, you're just an awful hetero dude who goes out here and dominates, right? You try and start, literally, guys, if you're a man and you're out here and you have any level of ambition, it's literally considered a bad thing. Like, I don't know what the hell this woman is smoking, but...
Which then results in the disproportionate amount of infidelity that we see in heterosexual couples.
This woman is so indoctrinated, it's actually hilarious to me. It's actually hilarious, guys, and welcome to the public schooling system. Let's continue on to the next video. Guys, we have a bunch from this woman, and if you think that they get any better, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but they really do not. Let's take a listen.
So I saw a thread on Twitter the other day that basically said strong, independent women should start taking notes from PickMes because clearly they're doing something right.
So if you guys don't know what a PickMe is, basically a PickMe is like a female version of a simp, right? Because obviously women can't use the word simp again because they like simps. You see, simps give them free attention, free validation, and free resources. So girls typically, a lot of them, not always, but you know, a lot of girls, they don't want to use that term because, you know, in using that term, it takes their power away from them, guys. You know, there was like if you guys know the streaming platform Twitch, okay, I think they banned the word simp. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't like to watch that degeneracy much anymore. You know, over on Twitch, just the platform is just really kind of devolved. But, you know, I think they banned the word simp. And really what that does, guys, is it gives a lot of power to women because you can't shame men for giving these women undeserved things. You see what I'm saying? So pick me is a term that women use to describe female simps who are simping for men, in case you were wondering.
But I have a confession to make. I have never seen a pick me picked online or in real life, and when they are, they're never picked for long.
I'm going to talk about this for a second, okay? Here's the thing. Most men, again, this girl, she's talking from a very, very, very narrow perspective, okay? Most men don't have women simping for them, okay? So when she says that most, female simps, we'll call them, don't get picked by men, that's typically because the men that they're simping for have options and they have no reason to pick them. You see what I'm saying? If you give the average guy a little bit of gratitude and a woman who is sane, a lot of men would jump at the opportunity to have that relationship. Like, I've said this many, many, many times over, guys, but men are not difficult to please. You know what I mean? You can literally, how crazy is this, okay? You can be a girl who's completely average in every dimension, okay? But all you have to do is show a bit of gratitude and care towards a man, and that man will spend his entire life working to provide for you and to provide for a family. Like, isn't that absolutely wild, guys? Like how men will do things for, men are not difficult to please. They really aren't. So when this girl says, oh, female simps, they never get picked, and if they do get picked, they don't get picked for long. Yeah, it's because they're simping for the dudes at the top. They're not, like, the average guy doesn't even have women who show a bit of gratitude towards him. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep going.
And in the thread, they included this quote from Trevor Noah that I just had to share. The traditional man wants a woman to be subservient, but he never falls in love with a subservient woman. He's like an exotic bird collector, wanting only a woman who is free because his dream is to put her in a cage. Because men...
Do you guys think that I should start putting, like, stupid quotes in the videos? You know what I mean? Maybe we got to make, like, transitions. Like, every time I go to a new TikTok, right, I just, like, press a button and it has, like, a stinger transition that comes up and it just says some stupid quote. Right? Here's the thing, okay? Fantastic quote. Not really. But it's very easy to pull out a quote from, anywhere in history to support your terrible worldviews. Like, that's the thing. Like girls will pull up, only can you find on TikTok, right? These people will pull up a quote as if it's evidence. Isn't that fantastic? Wow, the society we live in, man.
Don't actually like pick-me's. They just use them to put down the women they actually want but can't obtain. In other words, pick-me's are nothing more than a negging tool for men. So if you consider yourself one, I suggest you stand up.
I find it funny. So that's the end of the video right there. And we'll get into the next one in a second. But I find it funny how she says that, you know, these women are simply used as, you know, a tool for men, assumedly to gain social status. And it's really ironic that she says that, because this is exactly what women do to the average man, right? If you're a guy and you're an average man and you go out here and you ask a girl, you know, will you go out with me? Will you go on a date with me? Whatever, like this kind of crap, right? Chances are, especially if the girl says no, a lot of guys don't realize this, but you actually become a little social stepping stone where girls will say, oh, look, this guy asked me out, and they'll treat you. What they'll do is they'll put you down to raise themselves up and to make themselves appear more valuable. This is why a lot of these girls, they will make videos talking about, oh, you know, I got so many dudes in my DMs, or look at this guy talking to me, isn't he a creep? And the reason that they say these things is to try and make themselves appear more valuable, right? So it's interesting that she kind of highlights that these women are being used as social fodder by the top tier of men, when in reality, pretty much every man, well, the average guy, will be used in this way throughout his entire life. Let's continue on to the next clip, and from memory, I think this is one of the worst ones. Let's take a listen.
So I just wanted to address some of the comments I was getting on both TikTok and Twitter regarding my video talking about how heterosexual men only bring money to the table. There are quite a few people, mostly men, saying that I am projecting my shitty dating experience onto them and that I should have picked better men, you know, the whole bitter bitch speech.
I find it amazing, guys, simply amazing, that when these girls are presented with something constructive, they pass it off as though it's some speech that men just say just for the hell of it. When dudes say, pick better men, it's actually pretty solid advice, because if you picked better men, you wouldn't be having these issues where, for example, she's going to go on in a minute and say, you know, where you're going to get used for your body. Because here's the thing, the guys at the top percentage of dating, they have no reason to commit to you. Like, they're going to have their fun with you. And then, you know, they might commit to you for a little bit, but they'll step outside of the relationship, or maybe they'll give you a situationship. In other words, no relationship. And that'll go on for some time, and you'll feel so used for your body. But here's the thing. Throughout that entire time, you could have chosen a different man, one who's going to take you seriously, but you didn't. So you can sit there and you can blame men when, let's be honest, the situation that you're entering into was very clear from the beginning, by definition of its ambiguity, or you can take responsibility for your own actions, right? I don't know if I said that right, but you get my point here, guys. No accountability at all for their own decisions, but instead, let's have a go at men on TikTok. Fantastic stuff.
I'm going to say this once, and I really need you guys to hear me. I will never stop talking about social and systematic issues just because those issues don't affect me personally.
Don't you guys just love, and my character's kind of glitching a little bit here, but don't you guys love how we have modern day zealots, guys? You know, we have these women who are like, I will never stop talking about this particular societal issue because I have been oppressed and men make my life so difficult. Guys, I am telling you, I think this is like my third time saying this. Lying to women must be like the most profitable business and the easiest one to create in the world. That guy, Derek Jackson, guys, if any of you guys want to become a millionaire, okay, what I want you to do, hit the gym, start, you know, look halfway decent, grow like a shaven beard, okay, get like some diamond earrings, right? Nice big chest, guys. And I want you to get on TikTok and I want you to sit in your car and I want you to tell women what they want to hear and then sell them $2,000 courses. You'll thank me later. Guys, you'll be a millionaire within 6 months, okay? Like these girls, it's so wonderful because what they do is they're so malleable to a set of beliefs because that's what they want to hear, right? Because the thing is, guys, the truth doesn't sell. It really doesn't. If you come out here and you say the truth, very difficult to sell, okay? Girls, it's fantastic, right? they just get sold this garbage and they believe it because they want to. And what happens, guys? We have nobody getting married. We have, not a lot of kids these days, okay? Relationships are falling apart. You ask both men and women if dating is good nowadays, and everybody hates it. So you let me know how your little ideology is going, because to me, it doesn't appear like it's going too well.
Also, what was it about that video or any other video I have ever posted that would make you think I would so much as breathe in a man's direction if he couldn't act right? Like,
I love that. And again, guys, my character is glitching here. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to fix it. But this woman is sitting here telling us that she'd never breathe in the direction of a man who's not acting right. Now, guys, it so happens that I'm sitting at my desk here with my cup of coffee. I don't know if you guys can hear this, right? I don't know if you guys can hear that. I got my cup of coffee here. But not only am I sitting here with a cup of coffee, guys, I actually have a gigantic crystal ball. And I'm looking into this crystal ball, and I'm looking, and I'm analyzing what this woman just said. And my crystal ball tells me that what she just said was absolute bullcrap. Because here I am staring into this sphere, guys. And I'm looking at her past, where she's dated the bad boys. She's dated men who treat her quote unquote terribly, who don't give her relationships. And that's how we result in this TikTok that we're seeing today. Okay? You say that you don't look or breathe in the direction of men who don't act right. But guys, if we were to take a moment, I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and, have a look at this woman's dating history. I wonder what kind of men she goes for. In fact, guys, I was going to pull this up later, but I'll actually show you guys this now. Okay, before we continue with this video. Hopefully I can set this up correctly, okay? This is this woman's Instagram. Now, as you can see, we got a new little character in the corner here with my cup of coffee. As you can see, guys, I wasn't lying about the cup of coffee. I have one, right? This woman's Instagram is a picture of herself, a picture of herself, a picture of herself. Next line, picture of herself, a picture of herself, and you guessed it, a picture of herself. A video of herself, guys, a picture of herself. I don't know what the hell this is. Herself. Don't know what this is. Herself. You get the idea, okay, guys? Just absolutely crazy stuff. Now, the reason why I bring this up, guys, is because, if you have an Instagram like that, no boyfriend in sight, no husband in sight. So if you're if your line of thinking works, okay, you've got two conclusions, and I want you guys to tell me which is more likely. Either A, every man in the world is unsuitable and bad, or B, you don't have a boyfriend because you're intolerable. Right? I don't know, guys, but I've crunched the numbers, okay? And the results are in. Let's continue.
did it ever occur to y'all that I've been with my boyfriend for as long as I have because he actually agrees with what I have to say in my videos?
Where on earth? Okay, let's have a look at this. So she says right after I say that she has a boyfriend. I'm going to pull this up, guys. Where exactly is the boyfriend? Where is he now? Right, because guys, riddle me this. I don't see one in sight. I'm actually going to pull up and we're going to see when exactly that TikTok was made. Let's have a look. Oh, man, TikTok changed its stupid layout. Let me have a look. Ah, yes. So guys, this was posted in the year 2021 and her Instagram is up to date. So it doesn't seem to me like that boyfriend worked out. I don't, again, like I don't particularly know why, guys. But you know, the boyfriend is nowhere in sight and it's only been, you know, a year, less than a year. So it's kind of like that. If you guys have seen that interview where Jordan Peterson and like some womanist from GQ are sitting down, and it's just an absolute bloodbath where Jordan Peterson absolutely dismantles every one of her arguments, okay? And she says during the arguments like, oh, I know what I'm talking about because I have a husband. And then like they literally get divorced within like the next, like they literally get a divorce very, very shortly after, right? Or at least after. It's funny because this girl, like, she's like, oh, I have a boyfriend, so clearly I'm right, but the boyfriend is nowhere in sight now. Wonder why that is.
Not every woman who speaks up about women's issues is damaged and bitter. Some of us are just tired of watching the women we care about get hurt. Which is funny because I thought y'all were supposed to be the protectors.
You know, guys, like, I'll give her this, right? Different genders have a different set of issues. Like, I'm all for people bringing up issues and bringing things to the table, guys. But the thing is, you have to bring up the correct issues. Because if you sit here and you cry, for example, about how dating is so awful for you, and then you cite the wrong reasons why it's awful for you, you're going to get clowned on. If you sit here and you start talking to me about the wage gap, even though the wage gap has been literally illegal for many years now, okay, then I'm going to look at you like you're a clown because you don't know what you're talking about. Each gender, guys, I believe, people have legitimate issues, okay? Nobody's life is easy. Girls have their own issues, men have their own issues. But if you're going to bring them up, at least bring up the right issues, right? At least bring up the correct ones. Let's continue into the next video, and I believe this was the one that played at the beginning of today's video. Let's take a listen.
Because you're a female, have some money. Because you followed me back.
I'm going to try to say this as delicately as I possibly can, but money is quite literally the only thing a lot of cishet men bring to the table.
You guys know how I said, like, oh, I wonder why her boyfriend didn't last, or we don't see him anymore in the picture? It probably has to do with something like sentences like that, don't you think? Right? Like, if I had to just start anywhere and I just had to throw out a guess, it would probably be things like that. Like, if you say, like, here's the thing. Imagine having a boyfriend and you literally only value him for... I'm going to play that back. That's insane.
Female, have some money. Because you followed me back.
I'm going to try to say this as delicately as I possibly can, but money is quite literally the only thing a lot of cishet men bring to the table.
That's some fantastic logic there. And as you can see, guys, at the top of the TikTok, she says, also, how are you going to blame women for a system that the patriarchy put in place? Like, can we have some context? Like, I don't understand how that fits in here, guys. Right? Like, I swear, you can literally... Here's the fantastic thing. Damn it, I think my coffee's gone cold. You can give these girls... you just tell them what they want to believe. You make up some buzzwords that are not at all applicable to modern day society, and you just let them go, guys. Like, you just let them go, because the problem is when you sit down and you actually talk about it for 2 seconds and you think through it, you come to realize that it makes absolutely no sense, right?
No, because really think about it. Most of you guys can't stay faithful.
Again, the men that you're choosing to date can't stay faithful. There are plenty of dudes out here who, again, guys, like, she's not a bad looking girl. I'm sure many of us can agree, guys, like, not a terrible looking individual. It's not as if dudes are going to go out here. Like, the thing is, when she says that, oh, dudes are cheating on her, and this is how I know her previous statement was BS, guys. Like, I'll cut to the chase here, guys. I was lying about the crystal ball. I didn't have a crystal ball. I'm not an idiot, okay? The reason why I knew what this girl was saying was BS was because of the sentence that she just said right there. You see what I'm saying? So when you say that every guy cheats, what you're really telling me is you're telling me that you choose cheaters. You choose liars, you choose the scammers, whatever other adjective you want to use, okay? And then you cry about the results.
Most of you don't possess emotional intelligence, so women are left doing the emotional labor in the relationship.
I could make a point about this, guys, but I'm just going to play that back one more time so we can hear. Let's take a listen.
Stay faithful. Most of you don't possess emotional intelligence, so...
That's interesting, right? So, again, I think at the end of this clip, she complains about, like, being objectified or something like that. Like, don't quote me on that, but it's like, okay, so you don't like to be objectified, you want a man to behave correctly and all this kind of stuff, okay? But here you are, sitting down and telling me your idea, and your idea is that men do not possess emotional intelligence. Like, am I supposed to sit here and go, wow, this is a fantastic line of reasoning? You definitely... This is why a lot of dudes don't talk to you. Like, I'm gonna straight up say it that way. Like, this is the problem. You want dudes to, speak up about their emotions and talk about their issues and be more open because of all this toxic masculinity, okay? And then they're met with phrases like this where it's like, well, you're emotionally stupid anyway. Like, you understand that men have feelings too, right? And, like, I'm not trying to high road and say, like, oh, well, I'm so offended, because I personally don't. This woman's opinion means very little to me. But it's like, how are you going to come out here and you're just going to throw out insults like that, and you're going to assume that people are going to listen to your point of view, particularly men, right? Like, that's just amazing stuff.
Women are left doing the emotional labor in the relationship.
Emotional labor. Basically, she's stressed because she's worried about the dude stepping outside of the relationship. When a girl says that she's doing emotional labor in the relationship, basically what that means is she's checking up to make sure that he's not stepping foot outside the door. That's what that means. Emotional labor is a term used by women to describe their inability to lock down a man that they want. That's what it is. It's kind of like when their situationship gets upgraded into a relationship, but they know that the guy won't stick around, then they have to do the emotional labor, right?
Most of y'all don't carry your weight when it comes to the housework or the children. And most of you guys can't satisfy women sexually, which means
I feel like when girls say this, like they're really just, more than anything, they're just giving you a glimpse into their own life, right? It doesn't say, if you come out here and you say all of these things, right, especially unfounded, if you just come out and say them, it really says a lot more about yourself than it does about the individuals that you're talking about, right? Like, if you're going to say negative things about people, I would encourage you to, you know, provide some reasoning for it, at least some that actually makes sense.
the bulk of your value stems from how much money you make. On top of that, a lot of cis-het men don't even like women, so why are we acting like this isn't a two-way street?
The funny thing is, a lot of men out here actually do like women. A lot of men would love to have a relationship, would love to take you seriously, would love to take you out on those dinner dates and quote-unquote behave right, as you so eloquently put it earlier in today's episode, right? But you don't choose those men, right? And the more you either don't choose those men, you treat them like crap, and you subsequently get online and you make TikToks like this, you're actually, in the process of doing so, you're actually waking a lot of men up, right? And again, this is the problem, you see, because girls like this, guys, they get to 30, 40 years of age and they still don't have a relationship. They don't have a marriage. Okay. They don't have a long-term partner. Okay. And here's the thing. If girls don't want to have those things, it's totally cool. You know, if a girl doesn't want to get married, fine. If she doesn't want to have a long-term partner, fine. But a lot of these girls, they get to these ages and they realize that men aren't committing to them when they've held this behavior, this attitude the entire time, and they turn around and blame men for it. It's like, can you really blame dudes for not wanting to deal with you? You literally can't. But, you know, they somehow, the mental gymnastics, they find a way, don't they?
The same way women will enter relationships with men solely for money is the same way in which men enter relationships with women for consistent sex. Women don't seek out men with money because we're just manipulative users by nature. It's because we see through men, and we know that if we attach ourselves to someone who barely sees us as a person, we may as well be getting something out of it.
Yeah, so this woman's view is that every man views her as less than a person. And again, you can always tell where they're sitting at in terms of their interpersonal relationships, guys, because the attitude that she's describing is how she gets treated in her interpersonal relationships. The men that she chooses to surround herself with, whether that be, you know, boyfriend or partners and stuff like that, or situationships or all those kinds of things, what she has essentially just told us is that the men that she chooses to date, chooses to see, chooses to associate herself with, treat her as less than human. Now, I don't know, guys, but to me that says more about her as an individual than it does about the men, to be honest with you. Let's continue on to today's last video, and this is, I believe this is YouTuber FitX Fearless. That I think she's going to do a response or a stitch to him, so let's take a listen.
You are giving her an ultimatum. You are making her submit.
I can promise you that giving most modern women the silent treatment will only show her how peaceful life can be without you.
Untrue.
Not only is shutting your partner out like that a form of emotional abuse, but you are quite literally preparing her to live life without you, which is a pretty stupid tactic if you're trying to preserve the relationship.
It's actually a very effective tactic because I'm going to go back and explain this in more in depth, okay? But I'm going to play that back. I had a fantastic point I want to say.
If you're trying to preserve the relationship.
See, here's the thing. Your assumption that men want to preserve the relationship is kind of incorrect here. The point is, the point is, if she wants to go, she can damn well go. You see, dudes are sick of, it's not about, preserving and holding together this relationship and trying to convince someone to stay with you. No. Okay? This is not the 1950s, okay? You know, why would a dude want to hold a relationship with you, together with you? Like, that's the point. If you want to go, you can go. If you want to be for the streets, you can go. Here's the thing, guys. The beautiful part about this, I'm going to play the video again in a moment, but it's not a manipulation tactic. It's literally letting you leave. Like, that's the funny thing.
But I think men who feel the need to play little mind games like this know that women no longer need them, and so they resort to doing stuff like this instead of, improving upon their repulsive personalities.
It's literally not even a mind game. The dude's just saying, look, if you want to leave, you leave. You see what I'm saying, guys? Like, it's not a mind game. It's like, if you want to leave, then there is the door. No mind games, no manipulation, because here's the thing, guys. Life is a lot better when you don't surround yourself with people who don't want to be there. I know it's amazing, fantastic, super weird logic, but, maybe this girl could learn something from that, but I guess she'll continue to go out here dating and blaming men for not taking her seriously.
But what really gets under my skin is oftentimes when women finally get the courage to leave these types of relationships, they're the ones who are blamed by their partners, even by other people, for the relationship's failure. When in reality, do you know how abhorrent you have to be for a woman to prefer to be alone or even raise children alone rather than be with you?
Not really that abhorrent. Maybe I'm incorrect here, but don't you get paid for doing that? Right? You're a woman. You're in a relationship with a man, you have kids together, and this woman's argument is that, oh, it's so terrible to raise kids alone. Maybe, but you get a check for it. You can get another guy, right? Like, women are literally incentivized to break up nuclear families. You guys understand that, right? And this girl's logic is like, oh, why would we do that? Like, can we not play stupid for a second here and recognize for a moment that you're literally incentivized to break up families? I'm going to play that back. Let's take a listen to that one more time.
When in reality, do you know how abhorrent you have to be for a woman to prefer to be alone or even raise children alone?
First of all, if you're raising children alone, you're really not doing it because you've substituted the man for the government, and you can just get another man anyway. Like, guys, marriages are not... I love this, like, plausible deniability type crap, okay? Marriages between a man and a woman, it's not a... You understand it's not a contract between a man and a woman. It's a contract between a man, a woman, and the government. Okay, so let's not play stupid here for a second. And second of all, girls are never really alone. Like, they're really not. Whenever a girl uses the word alone, bro, like, they literally have no idea what it means. Guys know what the hell the word alone means. You ask a dude what the word alone means, he'll tell you. Nobody's in his inbox. Nobody's asking him how he is. Nobody's caring about him, right? These girls want to talk about alone when you could jump on Tinder, Instagram, hell, Bumble, and literally any application and, find friends and people who care about you simply because you're a woman. Get out of here, man.
Rather than be with you. It's not us, it's you. Submit to that.
Yeah, there's a few creative words I could use, but yeah, I don't know. Let's take a listen one more time to what FedEx Fearless says here.
You are giving her an ultimatum. You are making her submit.
Here's the logic behind that, guys. I'm going to tell you the logic of what he's saying there, and I actually do agree with the logic. I don't, like, I'm not one to sit down and go, here's an ultimatum, like some crap like that, guys. It's very, very simple, okay? If somebody wants to leave your life, let them leave. That's the logic there. If you say to a girl, this is how it is. If you don't like it, you can leave. And the thing is, guys, that is a fantastic way to reduce your headaches, right? If you're someone and you're sitting here in relationships or whatever the case may be, and you're trying to hold people there, chances are you know how painful that is, right? Like, chances are if you're someone who's trying to hold people in your life, the strain that puts on you as an individual is outright ridiculous, right? Rather than show people the door. If people want to leave, they can leave. The opportunity to come back is not going to be there. Just if you want to go, just go. Because here's the thing, guys, I view it as something that's incredibly unhealthy to sit here and try and convince people who have no interest in you to stay. I think that's incredibly unhealthy. Right, but this woman obviously knows better, guys, because yeah, she just absolutely does, and maybe she could learn something from that, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all these bad boys who won't commit to you, maybe you should stop trying to chase those. But guys, we're going to leave today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments down below, guys. If you disagree with anything I've said, feel free to do so. That is why the comments box is there. As always, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. It's totally free to join, guys. If you're interested in becoming a supporter, there's also an option for that. But otherwise, gentlemen, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together content for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. The link will be in the video description, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, we are currently looking to expand fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you're interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube, so if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace.